What's this?
Hi everyone. For those of you who know me, welcome back. For those of you who don't, I'm Cherish. And welcome to my channel. So this is a little video that I'm not exactly sure how soon I'm going to be releasing. Just how I spent my Halloween. So I want to say 2 weeks before Halloween, my mom and myself, we actually got pretty sick. Not too bad to where we were dragging on the floor, dying in bed. My mom's lasted almost 2 weeks. I want to say just a little less than 2 weeks, maybe 12 days or 11 days, maybe 10. On the safe side, 10. I basically was sick for 9 days, maybe 8, but I was just really tired still, so I was still technically sick until like 12 days. I think I was sick for like maybe 12 days. But yeah, we got over it just before we really needed to, which was the 20th. So we were better enough for the 20th. So we went to Disneyland and we were fine. We celebrated my aunt's birthday for her in Disneyland, and still kind of was battling just a wee bit of a bug, but managed to succumb it. I should say overcome it. I think succumb sounds wrong. Anyways, we managed to overcome it and we were fine. So my mom and me and my aunt, we had tickets to go trick-or-treating in Disneyland for the 29th, which is what we were fine for, and we did go. Now, just prior to the 29th, which was the 28th, and this is all October, so not to confuse anybody, it's December now, just so you guys understand the time frame. So the 28th of October, my grandma actually picked up the bug that we had. She made no attempts to rest or recover or get better. She just, I don't know. She doesn't try. So basically, she just battled it. Lack of sleep, lack of water, stupidity. But 29th, she was kind of really pretty sick. She did actually wind up going to bed early, good thing. The 30th, she was still pretty down. She was not 100% whatsoever. She was maybe 25% better. Okay, that's probably too much. I think she was like 15% better on the 30th. And she did wind up going to bed early, which we were very glad she did. Halloween rolls around. We were on the fence about even taking her to Disneyland. We had tickets to go trick-or-treating. We also had lunch reservations at an Italian restaurant in Disneyland. Well, it's like the winery, I guess, but there's like a restaurant next to the winery. But it is a really good little restaurant. My grandma stupidly had a giant, like, I kid you not, like the plate was like this big, like almost as big as a screen, but it was like, full of spaghetti, full of marinara. Not good for her. That was what she had for the lunch, and I kid you not when I say she did devour the entire plate. Now, me and my mom, I think I just had a soup. I'm not even sure. I know my dish was like really small in comparison to hers, and so was my mom's. So, I'm gonna try and show you guys this cake if I could find the right picture. So our package included actually a dessert, which was kind of nice. It actually was really nice that it included a dessert. Let's see if I can. Ooh, there you go. That is the dessert. The Oogie Boogie is a giant piece of chocolate that is a mousse cake sitting on a sugar cookie. And over here are two little sugar cookies. This is cocoa crumble behind it, or like cookie crumble. And then this is like a raspberry sugar shooter. And there are worms, gummy worms behind it, like near. Anyways, she ate one gummy worm, both of those little cookies. She had moved off the mousse cake and ate the cookie underneath, which was a sugar cookie. And she had tea. Now, mind you, she is a terrible, terrible, terrible drinker. I want to show you guys. Hold on. Okay. I want to show you. This is her cup, her water bottle, her water. Before we traded to those giant Dasani bottles that she now has to fill into this thing, she would drink 2. If we were lucky. Leave me a comment down in the comment section below if you actually know how big. Leave me a comment in the comment section below if you think you know how big this thing is. And I kid you not, it's not even that, because if you look, hello. Okay. Yeah. I think this is 12. I almost want to say 12 because this thing was, no, it might be. It has to be maybe 12. Either a 12 or a 6. I don't know, because this thing is, I believe, a 32. I don't even know. Okay, it doesn't matter. 2 of these, if we're lucky. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Kind of had to, like, readjust you guys to it at the same time. Don't mind if you can see this stuff back here. Don't mind if you can see this right here. That's from Halloween when I was doing Vlogoween, and I still haven't brought myself in to put it away. Anyway, so, and see, we have her asking us, or had her asking us to fill it, just because she doesn't like to put the lid on it, so she'd go around and wind up spilling, and I fell twice because of it. She's good at dropping ice, she's good at spilling the water, so basically it was a danger for me waiting to happen. So we had her asking us to fill it. The 29th, she had 2 of those for sure. We didn't leave here until 5 or 6, and throughout that she had 2. We filled a 3rd time, but when we did get back home, it wasn't empty. It still had like half of it, so like 2.5. The 30th, 1. That was it. She never even drank the second one, and we filled it. She didn't even drink it. She already poor sleeps constantly. This woman has had poor sleep habits. Not that I have any better, but I'm also not in my 80s. Poor sleep habits to the point where she would go to bed at 8 o'clock at night and wake up at 2 in the morning and be fine. Now, because my mom told her we were going trick-or-treating in Disneyland, she woke up at 4 in the morning after going to bed at, like, I think she went at 9. Well, she was in her room. She went off to bed at like 7:30 on the 30th, but her light didn't turn off until like 9. So she was still awake. And then I could still hear her talking. So she was still awake. Probably until close to 10. And then woke up at 4 in the morning and was up. So, see, I knew it was going to be long. Anyways, and I'm not even to the main event. So anyways, she sucked at having water and had tea with that lunch that I just described about the big pasta plate and the dessert. So right after lunch, we're still eating. She suddenly goes like this. And we're like, whoa. Sometimes she will fall asleep right after she eats. My dad will do it too. It's just the way that medical situations cause you. She right away, sorry, I need to adjust it a little. Ugh, sorry about that. Anyways, um, so yeah, she goes on like this. And she comes up for a second. And I'm like, whoa, somebody's tired. And, the waitress noticed it. And she's like, oh, I wish I could sleep that good. And we're like, yeah, she sleeps like that after she eats all the time. I noticed she was drooling. Now, she doesn't normally, when she hangs over and falls asleep, drool. So I was a little bit concerned, but not really bad. So we decide, oh, we're going to take her home. So we back her away from the table, and her foot was not completely on her little foot pad because she stays in a wheelchair all the time, thank God. Imagine trying to get her out of a chair and get her to walk. Whew, that would have been bad. So anyways, we wheel her down this ramp, and my mom is like, oh, I'm afraid about where her foot is. So I go to move it, and I look at her face. Her eyes open for like half a second, and they're gymongous. Like, I don't even see the white of her eyes. They're so big. And she was like pale. Okay, she was the color of zero. She was so pale. And I'm just like, oh my God, you need to, hello. So my mom goes down, and she's like, moves her and like tries to get her to wake up and pay attention. She's like, I'm fine. And I'm like, oh, we've got a problem. So we're quickly moving, and we're in DC. So we're quickly moving all the way over to first aid. And we're just like, oh my God, this is not good. She's obviously having a sugar issue. She ate too much carb, too much of that sugar. She's going downhill. So we take her over to first aid, and they try to take her blood pressure, and they're getting really, really low numbers. So they're like, okay. And they took her sugar. Her sugar wasn't that high. It was a little bit higher than normal, but not too high. But they couldn't get a blood pressure on her because it was reading so low, and they were like freaking out and whatever. Um, she's barely lucid. She's just like in and out, like so bad in and out. And we got to a point where we're like, no, you're going to have to call an ambulance. We have to take her to a hospital. We need to. We have no choice. She has to go to a hospital. They called the EMT, and EMT came in, and they're trying to take her BP. She's starting to get cognizant a little bit, and her BP raised. When they first took it, she was 98 over 40. Oh, no, over 20, which is really bad. She was 98 over 20. The second time he took it, she was 94 over 30. And then the third time he took it, because they did keep switching and trying to do the finger thing, nothing was getting a reading, and like her heartbeat was really low too. When the EMT came, she was 104 over 30. And he thought, okay, it's not giving a reading. I'm like, no, she is really, it's really bad, trust me. So they knew they were going to take her, so they're trying to get her. I guess she started to have to go pee, and she was uncomfortable. She said her stomach hurt, and like she just one thing after the other. She's complaining the whole time. They are trying to get her jacket off. They're trying to get her in the gurney. She's whining, complaining, and becoming a little bit more lucid. But she does, when she's in the gurney and inside the thing, she does like go unconscious for a while. So they're able to like just do what they have to do to get her to the hospital. We followed in the car. We went up to UCLA hospital, and I had to wait in the urgent care, or like the waiting room. I had to wait in the waiting room. My mom went in. They still had her in triage. And she was complaining that she was like ready to go home. She was fine. Take me home. They gave her 3 liters of water or fluid. She had the runs. And basically they were going to keep her overnight because we knew we weren't taking her back home. There was like no way. So we I stayed in there while she went in there, and they were talking about, oh, we might keep her overnight, blah blah blah. So that happened on a Friday, no, a Thursday. Halloween was a Thursday. So Friday morning, they called my mom and they wanted to have us come and pick her up. And we're like, oh, well, we can't go. We have too much to do. My mom started getting hypoglycemic. And while we were in the store, because we had to get the tires fixed, or no, we had to get an oil change and we had to get shopping stuff. Um, but yeah, she had an issue and we knew we couldn't go get her. So we went back home and both of us were just like so freaking tired. So we went to bed early and we got up the next morning early. We had to take care of my dad. We had to do like a bunch of things before we went. And we got up to the hospital like 12, I want to say, in the afternoon on Saturday. My grandma was very sick at this point. She had no voice. Um, but they were going to release her. Um, so she got dressed. We got her in the car. Requirements. We knew she was going to Monday morning have to go see her doctor. But overall, she was fine. She still suffered for a while with the runs. Um, so yeah, it goes to show you, if you are diabetic, stay far away from a lot of carbs and a lot of sugar. Um,
Christmas time? Hmm.